Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason, and it is the week of, I don't know, I can't see my calendar. It is November the 15th, and we're going to go 7 days from now and talk about the stars and the sun, the smoke moving through the screen. Incense is always great to clear the space as you're going to be speaking. The sun, let's get right into it. The sun is quiet, which is nice, maybe. A lot of times when the sun is less active, you'll feel less energetic, right? So you might be feeling lethargic or moving slow through stuff, and that is typical. That sort of goes on there. There has been some slight flaring, but none of those flares have produced CMEs, which is the ejection parts, and they have been off the sides of the sun. So even if they would have released something, they wouldn't have come and hit the planet. There's no coronal holes that are pointing at us currently either. So there shouldn't be a whole lot of energy coming from the sun other than it's the sun and it powers all life on the planet. But there should be no extra energy that should be really triggering to you. However, with the lowered Earth shield, right, the protective magnetic field around the Earth, with the lower protection of that, still more than normal or a high amount comes through. So there isn't a lot of respite from continuous solar energy or cosmic energy that's allowed to come through. So uh, it's not doing anything, but it is not being ultra triggered. Yesterday and today was also the ending of the eclipse season, right? So a lot of that solar sort of activity from that's gone away. Currently we have only one, two, three, four retrogrades, and those four retrogrades, I believe, are Neptune, which is over December 6th, so almost out of that retrograde. Chiron, which is over December 27th. Jupiter, which is over December 31st, and then Uranus moves us into the end of next month, so into 2024. Just a reminder, with this lower energy, we're more affected by the planetary stuff. Neptune is really about allowing or being led by your soul, your inner guidance, rather than your logic, rather than external forces, right? So rather than um, government, jobs, responsibilities, relationships, it's really being more guided by soul. That's not to say that your soul doesn't have anything to do with those. A lot of times those relationships are brought into because the soul needs you to heal or connect or have a certain mixture of things that you need to overcome or rise up from, or even be triggered to act on their behalf. So those things are fine. But it's going to be the Neptune energy is really raising your consciousness of there's something greater and beyond the self, and the first thing that's greater and beyond the self is your soul, or where you come from as source, right? Because you're operating from somewhere outside of this physical form, using the brain and the nervous system of the body to interact in this physical reality. So that's what Neptune's helping us mess with. That sounds a little intense for a Wednesday morning. Chiron, Chiron's really about understanding that um, as that divinity, you are worthy, you have value, that you are necessary, that something so large and expansive would choose to be here in this place in this now if you didn't have a purpose and if you weren't important to the overarching purpose of self-discovery, source consciousness, and the evolution of the human story. So that's also heavy for Wednesday. Getting into it today must be just riled up. Uranus, like I said, is still also in retrograde, and Uranus is really about finding the courage to actually say this shit I just said out loud to people that aren't on YouTube watching astrological and solar predictive stuff, weather sort of reports for, hey, here's how the cosmos is going, right? And so how do you sort of share that knowledge with people who aren't seeking it, or who are in some small way convinced that it is not necessary or important to their daily life? All right, so Uranus is sort of helping you do that kind of stuff. And then what else is the last one? I think the last one is Jupiter, big old Jupiter. Jupiter is really about redefining yourself, allowing yourself to be abundant, and sort of letting your natural abilities help you thrive, right? So rather than seeing here's a laundry list of things that are necessary for success, or even if you're following other spiritual pages or YouTube channels, they're like, as soon as you learn how to meditate or do this or this or this, this is really about allowing your natural self, which is the most important thing, which is this cosmic thing that's given to you, that will produce the life that you're seeking rather than the laundry list of things and going through something in an order. Right now, when you have those natural talents, you can add the order to it so you can develop those, but you shouldn't change the core of what you are or who your source consciousness is. Oh wow, that seems a little preachy today. My inner pastor has come back out. Oh no. So that's today, Wednesday. All those retrogrades are currently happening. Today is, like I said, the end of the eclipse season. So the sun is going to sort of lead us forward, right? After the eclipses, all of that solar energy, right? And so it's this active energy where and now's the time to move, not just plan to move, right? So we've been doing a lot of planning, we've been doing a lot of allowing, we've been doing a lot of holy shit, the planets are really messing with us. There's been a super amount of change. And so this is just really okay. Um, the time is now, right? We've planned on all of this energy happening and now it has. And so now we need to move with it. And so the sun, the reason the sun's going to be helping, not because it's active, because we just saw it's not, but the sun is active energy, right? It's the doing energy. So if you can sort of either sun gaze or do some red light therapy, that energy is going to help sort of trigger the body to be ready to do that acting that your spirit's calling you to do. Leading us to tomorrow, Thursday. Um, the eclipse season really showed your capacity, right? All that energy and stuff that happened, right? A lot of shifts. You know, some of us lost loved ones, some of us changed jobs, some of us, had health scares. All those kinds of things really showed you your capacity. And so, even those that are already successful, right? Uh, Weather reports for the stars are not for people that are downtrodden or lost. Even if you're already successful, you've showed that you have the capacity for even more success. And so, right, I was just reading, I'm doing a lot of collating of paperwork and going through old things and managing my mom's estate. So I found this little letter. I think they did it, made my parents write it in seminary, right? And it's like, oh, Jason, you're so great, you're so talented, you're so funny, because that's how parents are. And there's just like this little paragraph. They're like, but you could do so much more, right? And so they were like, you're awesome, but you're not as awesome as you could be, right? And so that sort of really, I don't say struck me as, oh my God, I'm so sad, but kind of struck me as like that, you do when you think you have a limit, right? You're usually got about 40 to 80% more, right? Your physical, your mental, your spiritual barometer is meant to sort of conserve energy and prepare for a rainy day. And so you really have a lot more in the gas tank. And so even if you're already successful, the energy of Thursday is really sort of telling you, like, well, how much more successful can you be? And then the planetary influence of the day is really going to be Venus, right? So it's that loving energy, right? And so sort of think about, if you're using me as an example, that loving energy of, hey, it's a parental understanding that, hey, you're fucking great, but you could be better, right? And not in a bad way, not in a chastising way, not in a cut the knees off, like, oh, look, I finally, did this or that. And like, yeah, but you could have done this. Not in that kind of stuff, but more in like, hey, you're so great, you're so talented, you've made it through so many things, but you could be doing more. That's the energy of Thursday. Moving on, Friday. Friday gets us to the Leonids, the meteorites coming out of Leo, are going to peak, right? So that's going to be look to the constellation Leo. I don't know where it's visible in the sky right now, but if it's visible in your sky from where you're at, then go ahead and look at that. And so when those happen, meteors in general are going to cause aha moments, synchronicities, epiphanies, as it were. And uh, the energy of Leo is really going to be sort of heart and solar plexus centered, leading into the Christmas season. in December, in winter solstice. There's a lot of metaphysical lore around Regulus, which I believe is the lion in the sky. And a lot of that has to do with, the formation of Rome, the appearance of Jesus, and where a certain amount of 3 stars goes through the chest of Leo, right? And so those kinds of things are triggering right now. So those things are going to give you courage, give you understanding, give you really the inability to hide your true self, right? It's almost like waking up something that's been sleeping, or a sleeping giant, right? That's the kind of energy of Friday. So look to the Leonids for that to be sort of nice. I think it's nice to have that kind of energy come through. During the weekend, not much is happening. Work on you, not work on work, right? So allow that stuff that's happening to happen for you. Monday is an 11 master day, and you have tons of options, right? All of this energy gives you tons of options when you are your authentic self, and you realize that that's necessary. Then placing yourself in a bunch of different situations is optive, right? Is an option for you. And so Monday is really, when we're in that master energy, is really sort of check into your intuition. Your intuition is calling you to something that's going to be a little bit more suiting and comfortable for your energy of who you really are, right? So if you have awakened that with the Leonids, and then you have a master day, pay attention to that. And then Tuesday is really going to be a day to, we're heading into Thanksgiving here in the United States. And the energy is really about clearing out or paring down all of the bullshit that you don't want to stare at over the winter months, right? Oh, it's too cold to clean this. It's too whatever, or I should have thrown this out, or blah, 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 blah. Something you don't want to stare at or be reminded of all season as it gets closer, or the days get shorter. And it's just sort of the energy is more about contemplation, contemplation than it is activity. You want to get that last little bit of activity out. Um, and then that's going to be the week. Of course, I'll be here on and off in the shop because it is the holiday season. So I'll be closed for Thanksgiving, and then we'll be moving into the Christmas season. And so obviously go and check if there's availabilities online that I haven't blocked out, or that it says that you can book an appointment. Then by all means, go to newdimensionscrystals.com and book an appointment. If you're in the area and you want to stop by the shop, obviously you can stop by the shop. If I'm closed, you can't stop by the shop. But I should be here mostly my regular hours, except for Thanksgiving week, because I think I'll be checking out after the report, and then going off about my business, because it's slow here in small town during that time anyway. And then, of course, a lot of times breath work helps. You can still do one-on-one breath work sessions. You can bring a friend, split up the costs if you need to. You can book those online. And of course, if you like what you're hearing and you want to see more, or you want to keep seeing me on every week, like and subscribe, share this with your friends, because this is a really cool community of all of y'all out there that are watching this. And I enjoy talking about the stars. I think that's everything for this week. Until next week, many blessings.